I'm Edie Lush, and I'm here in the Hub Culture Pavilion in Davos, and really pleased to be joined now by Melissa Ma. She's the co-founder and managing partner at Asia Alternatives. Tell me about being a woman in private equity.
It's lonely, Edie. It's lonely. The World Economic Forum has just launched an effort called Women in Private Equity, and it was just launched here at Davos, and the first report came out and shockingly showed 3% of senior professionals in private equity are women. That's worse than almost any other industry. You know, even other male-dominated industries that you might consider, financial services, investment banking, hedge funds. And this has become more than just about gender equality or gender parity. It is a investment imperative, right? The biggest source of barrier in our industry to make returns is talent, right? And if you're excluding 50% of your very educated talent, right? How are we going to continue to have that competitive advantage? So that is the angle that at least I and other investors are taking beyond the fact that it's obviously the right thing to do.
I'm shocked that it's that low. I mean, I knew it was low, but I didn't know why.
Right. There's actually a lot more women that come in through the associate ranks. So the first is that a lot of the private equity firms, including myself, right, I am a former banker, I'm a former consultant, and those tend to be the traditional feeding grounds. So there's already a smaller pool of women that tend to go into those areas. But still, you know, once you go there and you go into private equity, that oftentimes there gets to be a certain point at which either when you go have children and or the scheduling flexibility and or just the culture internally, right, where your skills and talents may not be as recognized, right? And so there are a number of reasons that women, and once they leave or they kind of step back, it's very hard to come back into our industry.
So what needs to be done?
Needs to be done. So first, there needs to be I think we're getting a lot of the senior men and a lot of the senior women, right, that are in our industry to help first think about why is exactly asking the question that why you are, using their own experiences, right? And there's a couple different areas starting from the bottom, which is not only the recruiting, but the retention and development of women. And then recognizing that in our industry, which typically has been seen as a very male-dominated, tough industry, that there are a variety of skills that are important, right? And if ultimately in private equity, your job is to invest in private companies, guess what? As an increasing number of women become the future entrepreneurs and the future managers and the future CEOs, right? Then our industry needs to match that as well.
Doesn't it need to change? I mean, I know the private equity world, I've got a lot of friends in it, and they work so hard.
Yes.
I mean, you would not even have time to have children, much less look after them.
There are many, many successful women, right, that have children. I myself have a 7-year-old, and there are trade-offs, as in anything that you have to make, right? You have to make. But I do believe that there are cultures that are flexible to do so.
But does private equity need to change?
Yes, the private equity does need to change, and I think it needs to. It's not just about work flexibility when you're having maternity leave. That's what everybody focuses on. That's the easy part, right? The harder part is once you have the children and you're trying to be a part of their lives and you're trying to run your family, right? So I'll give you my own example. Asia Alternatives was started by me and 2 other women. We all came through very traditional private equity routes. I worked at a very successful private equity firm. And I just got to a point where I said, look, if I want to it's the control. I work harder now than I ever worked before, Edie. This is not about working less, okay? Everybody thinks I'm working hard, never working now. It's about a control over my schedule, and it's also about an ability to use what I recognize as my talents and talents of other women, and we have many men in our firm as well, right? But that will be evaluated and that will be recognized, right, for the success that it can be.
Melissa, thank you so much for coming by the Hub Culture Pavilion here in Davos, and I'm Edie Lush.